The Rex, quite possibly the most recognizable dinosaur on the ARKs. What's not recognizable, however, is the way I'm doing this intro. Typically you would hear this. Hey guys, Eric here, back with more ARK Survival Evolved. But we're trying something new with these ARK videos. I just recently got really into doing voiceovers, so I'm trying that with my ARK content. We'll see how it works out. But back to the dinosaurs. Rexes are the default boss fighting candidate for most survivors across the ARKs. And me being the basic bitch I am, don't differ from that status quo. However, the army I currently have, while perfectly capable of killing the beta broodmother, I do think the alpha broodmother would wreck their faces just a little bit. That's so fucking stupid. So we're mutating Rexes today. Specifically what I want to achieve is stacking 100 mutations with an even 50-50 split between health and melee damage, while also making a colorful army to lead into battle. So I threw a bunch of Rexes in a room and was greatly amused by their tails clipping through the wall. Left them for like an hour longer than I meant to and had a hell of a mess to clean up. But eventually I had myself quite the colorful army. This all took place over a span of several weeks and months, by the way, partially because I stopped working on it for a time to make a sick water base, but I also decided to make 5 different color combinations, which took forever, but it was greatly worth it to have such a fun, colorful army. When imprinted, these guys had almost 36k health without any levels put in, and were hitting for a nice chunk of damage. So after bottling them all up, I started making my way to the green obelisk. But on the way there, I ran into 2 very rude Thylas. And they didn't even actually hit me off my mount, I just jumped so bad that I accidentally hit the E key. This did put a hold on my boss fighting plans though, because they broke my pants. And I didn't want to go into the boss fight without pants, it just didn't seem like a good idea. So I made my way back to my base, only to find that I lacked the organic polymer I needed to repair my pants, so I made my way to the snow biome to hunt some penguins for organic polymer before heading back to base again to finally repair my armor. And with my pants back on, I finally made my way to the green obelisk, where I picked up my unmutated army, leaving Bunny and Terracotta out, of course. And then I spent the night throwing down and arranging my mutated Rex army for the alpha broodmother fight. They each also had a good chunk of levels built up, so I pumped those all into melee damage because I figured 35k health would be more than enough for the fight. Although I very well might get them up to like 40k, maybe 50k health for the dragon fight. We'll see what happens. That's something to figure out in the future because I'm not fighting the dragon for a while yet, I have a feeling. After I had all my Rexes situated and leveled up, I whistled them to neutral and put my pig on passive before starting the boss fight. And I guess the game didn't like my pre-boss fight courage roaring because it froze and I was promptly lagged out of the game. And I was worried that when I logged back in, either I'd be dead or my army would be gone, but luckily enough, neither of those things happened, and it reloaded back to a couple minutes before I initiated the boss fight. So I restarted the boss fight, and this time I skipped the pre-fight courage roaring, and the game seemed happy about it because it finally loaded me into the alpha broodmother arena. Unfortunately though, I forgot to put Bunny, my Deodon, on passive heal, and I forgot to put him on passive, so we ran straight into the battle without any healing protection. But the Rexes were hitting for some pretty big numbers and were absolutely shredding through her health, so I wasn't too worried about it. And in about a minute, they ate through her health and I stole an alpha broodmother dermis to replace the beta dermis I had. And then I found Bunny, who was very bloody, so I turned on passive heal and was just very happy he hadn't died, because I really like this stupid pig. And I technically have the breed pair to make more bunnies, it just wouldn't be the same. But either way, I drank some nasty cave water before being zapped back to the platform and spending an embarrassing 5 minutes. I'm telling you, it was at least 5 minutes. Looking for the boss loot, not realizing that it was in my inventory. But while looking around for the loot in my Rex's inventory, I did see that the Rex with the most health loss was only like 6k down, which bodes well for future boss fights. Although I'm most likely going to retire both my Yudi and my Deodon, because I think adding 2 more Rexes would be more beneficial than using the 2 slots it takes to bring them every time. Future plans aside though, I hopped back on my Pterodon and made my way back to base, opting to just leave the Rexes at the obelisk, because I don't currently have the means to do any of the other boss fights, so if I want or need more element, I'll just have to do it through the Broodmother, so there's just no real need to move them at the moment. After I got back to base, I exchanged my beta Broodmother Dermis for the alpha one, and I also swapped out the beta Broodmother head trophy for the alpha head, which is a really neat red color, and it looks really cool above the door to my base. And that pretty much wraps up this video. I would like to mention though that this video is probably weirdly structured for a mutation video, and that's only because when I recorded the bulk of this video months ago, I didn't plan on doing a voiceover for it. And if I had, I would have shown and talked a lot more about the mutation process itself, and not so much a focus on what I did with them after they were mutated. But either way, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy watching, maybe consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!